What is up, everyone? Train Freak here. And continuing off from the big behemoth, I have now got tortoise switches in there. I did run into some issues. I actually had to take this thing back out. But yeah, if you notice, some of the ties are missing. So one of the issues I ran into, and I'm going to bring this a little closer so you can see, is that my points here were rubbing up on the ties. And so my tortoises, even with piano wire, did not want to throw the turnouts. Now, these are going to be hidden in staging, so I'm not really concerned about the wooden ties being missing. Unless I start having some derailing issues, and that would be like if the rail sags down and whatnot and then it comes back up. But I even had that turnout right above my finger, right in front of Riceland. That one also was giving me issues, and what I ended up doing there was using a sanding block, and I sand the ties down and it no longer does it. I also ended up using graphite, and that really helped too. So I don't know if you can see how dirty that one looks. I mean, these all still have to be painted, so painting's going to come in the future. But, you know, just to start, I did get tortoises installed. Everything's wired up. So hopefully we can run some trains out and won't have any derails. That would be the huge catch. Alright, so the other thing I had to do here, check this out. So originally I had one throw bar that was going to switch both of these. The problem is in JMRI I cannot assign both of these two turnouts the same address. And so trying to set up my routes on Panel Pro was not going to happen. So I ended up cutting, and I had to solder a new piece on here. Alright, so yeah, so that was kind of a failed thing, and that's why I had to take this apart. And so I had to separate the throw bar on this one and the throw bar on that one, even though two trains can't use this at the same time. Of course, I had issues with the ties here too, so I've taken them out, but I did some testing, and so far a lot of it works good. The only cars that I'm having issues with is the passenger fleet. But I did run a freight fleet on that track as well, and there was no issues with the freight, which tells me it's more than likely my passenger cars, and I bet you it has to do with they're all body mounted couplers, and I think I need longer shanked knuckle couplers. Because it seems like the cars, it's not the first one that's wanting to derail, it's all of the ones in the middle. Not even the last one. The last one's not even derailing. So I think it has to do with the cars that are being coupled. So, but I've got 5 trains sitting here. Technically it's 6th one if we talk about the passenger train. But yeah, we're going to try to get these out here quickly. So yeah, let's see how this stuff works. Alright, so we're going to see what these do. I will let you know that some of the locomotives have louder volume than others. I've got 5 push buttons here with the LCC system, one for each track, and I'm still having some issues with them. But we can at least go ahead and get the tracks aligned. So we'll start with track 1 and see if we can't get the first train to roll on out. Now some of these also have automatic horn signals, so you'll hear the horn on some of these. so I'm gonna have to get this train way over on the other side of the room before we can move our second train. All right, next one. Alright, so now I gotta get this one all the way on the other side of the room. Alright, third train. This one is gonna be a heavy train. Yeah, it looks like I had one car pop off, and it's the caboose on the back end. So I lost one. So here's the one I lost. And of course I had to uncouple on the other side of the room on a switch, which is one of the reasons why I'm replacing all of these, because these Atlas switches has caused the cars to bounce, and when they bounce on that frog, they uncouple. So let me get that train connected, and then I'm gonna have to throw the switch at the double crossover, and then we'll get these. All right, so like I said, we're back. We're gonna do the F7s, we'll do the FTs last, so let's go ahead and line up for our F7s. I don't know if anything happened or not. Yeah. We'll double check. So I still got some programming stuff to do too. Granted, it's okay though. Alright, select 927. So what I'm curious to see is how many cars or locomotives are actually derailing on this new switch. I figured I was going to at least have a few. Surprisingly, out of the 3 trains, we've only got 1. So let's see what happens here. And these take a little bit to get going. These are Bachmans with the Bachman Select sound. And another thing is the frogs are not powered yet. And it looks like I do have a locomotive that has derailed. The front locomotive on the back truck has popped off, so I'm gonna put those back on real quick. Okay, it was just the front axle on the second truck that popped off. Now I just got to get it over on the other side of the room. Okay, now the last one. And of course, I think I got that bottom switch wired in backwards. So it shows to be straight, so we'll see what happens. All right. Now some of y'all might recognize this pair of locomotives. I just got these not too long ago, and these are the first ones, or that first A and B that I have put sound in. They're 21 pins, so it's very easy. Eventually, I'll get the other A and B units with sound as well. And I'm pretty sure I've got a car on this one that needs some tweaking on it. So I'm expecting at least a 1 derail on this train here. So let's see what happens. So the one I'm expecting to derail is going to be the third flat car with trailers on them, or the first one that's got doubles, 2 of the 20-footers. That will be the one I expect to derail with. Okay, I'm hearing a derail from another switch. Okay, so I had a feeling that one over there was going to derail at some point. I've got a problem with the axle not sitting flat. It's kind of bowed in one direction. So one of the wheels doesn't sit on the rails very well. So that's a car that I'm gonna have to do some work and modifications on. But I mean, you can see that the rest of the train went through just fine. And like I said, we only had 2 oops, you know, on the new Turnout that I built. Now I did have one other car derail, and it was that Burlington one there, but I fixed it. It came off. But, you know, we can count and see how many locomotives and cars actually went through it. So we got 2, 3, 4, there's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. It's going to be hard to see. 14, so we'll ignore the, 15, 16, 17, 18. So we had 18 cars on this last train make it through the big Turnout with no problem. And then over here, so 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. Now this is going to get a little confusing. 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, there's a flat back there, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60 for that gondola, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73. So we had 73 pieces of either locomotives or rolling stock go through the yard ladder back there. Well, actually take that back. We need to take one away. 72. Because I forgot about that first locomotive. That one axle derailed. And then of course, that guy derailed. Now, if I would have sent this train here, my passenger, my Morning Star, that one, and that one would have derailed. So, and I think it's because the couplers, even though the diaphragms are spaced apart, now see, this one's got long shank couplers here. There's one here with the long shank, and the other one has a standard shank. And then we got standard shanks here, which could be why I had derails happening here, here, but not here. Okay? So, I don't know. Now, one of the things that I'm still trying to figure out, here's the 5 buttons I mentioned about. Track 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Supposed to, the way I want this done is when I first turn the layout on, I want these to be, they're all red. And of course, when you wire, you know, when you press one, that's the track you want. And sometimes, but when you press it, it should send the other 4 back to red. So that way you've only got 1 green, 4 reds, you know exactly which track's lined up. So now I'm trying to figure out how to get these things to go back to red, or to get the other ones to go back to red. So this is an LCC thing. So unless you know about layout command control and how the programming works, don't even waste time trying to make suggestions, because it's within the LCC programming. If you know LCC, I am open up to suggestions. On the groups.info or groups.io, I did put a message thread out there as well. So, but other than that, hey, this is the update. We got some tortoises installed. I still got some electronic stuff, programming, figure out. I'm gonna have to modify the backdrop to fit here, but I think we'll be okay to make it happen, but that's it. Might have a little bit more tweaking to do. I'll do some more testing and stuff. The question is it the track or is it the cars that are derailing, or the locomotives? You know, so that's some of the testing I'm going to have to do. Some of the testing I'm going to have to try to figure out. So, but other than that, the other turnouts that I've got in, so we got this one here. Remember, it used to be butted up. Well, the old turnouts used to be butted up together. So the old entrance, if I move this piece of track out of the way, you can see the old entrance used to come like that. Okay? So now we moved it up a lot closer. It's 3 inches track center to track center here. And so I'll probably curve it this way and kind of follow this track to make the operations a little easier to do switching on. But yeah, we've got this one in, so we can show you it. So now we're lined up to go to Riceland. Now we're lined up to stay on the main. And then right under the 2 Mopac ones, we have another turnout. So one of the nice things that we did with redoing these turnouts, this was originally a number 4 Atlas. Now it's a number 5. Both of these switches here were number 4s as well. Now they're number 5s. The one back there past the signal where my derailed flat car's on was an Atlas number 6, and it's still a number 6. So that really didn't change the track trajectory that much, but the 5s I think fit a better flow. So as far as the next thing I plan to do, we'll have to walk around the room. I've got 2 major projects going on. One, if Mother Nature allows me. The other one, if Mother Nature doesn't allow me. I'm going to replace this double crossover with the hand-built one. This is a Walters. So that's going to be one of my projects, which I've got a guy that's interested in buying that from me, so that'll be nice. But after I do the double crossover, I'm going to start focusing on trackage over here. I'm thinking about making a change. Not a major change, but a minor one. I'm actually thinking about bringing this track over a little bit, because I really do want to have Passmore gas on a separate track than Budweiser's receiving. So I would like to have that track over, which would be nice. But the other thing I'm thinking about doing is, instead of having this crossover right here, maybe bringing it down over here and having another entryway into these 2 tracks here, you know, that the industrial thing switches. So I'm thinking about it. I don't know, let me know your thoughts. I think that will allow me to have the local drop cars and pick cars up both on the way to Brinkley and on the way from Brinkley, which would be the Rock Island interchange. I think more switching opportunities would be able to happen in here. So, and then of course, all of that over there will get changed too. And if I do end up making any changes, if you notice, the Rock Island main line straightens out. I'm thinking about curving it, and maybe curving it, move the diamonds in front of the crossover. So we'll see. That might allow me to make those yard tracks back there just a little bit longer. So that might be something worth looking into as well. Alright, now, if the Mother Nature wants to play nice, this is something I've been working on. I started on it, but this right here is going to be a display. But not just display, it's going to go in staging, so it's also going to be staging. So I've already made marks on my tracks and whatnot, but I'm using 3/4 inch plywood because it's a whole lot cheaper than boards right now. Wood is still pretty high. The color of this is called Oasis Blue. So Miss Freak is the one who picked it out, which I think kind of matches the blue on this cotton belt logo. It's very, very close. And it's pretty close to my Train Freak logo. And yeah, definitely got to have the Freak car, right? But this is going to replace, you know, the backdrop that's got the signs, you know, if you watch my live streams from time to time. So I've got the top, I've got one track in. Next track will be the Rock Island staging. And I've got a track in for the bottom. So I've got the bottom done. But I've got to paint these before I put the track on it. Now, about the back here, I'll be able to put painter's tape on top of the track and then I'll paint the backing of it. And so all of this will be blue, so everything you see on here will actually stand out. And I think it'll look pretty good. If you're wondering how long this is 80 inches long. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pieces on here. Could easily fit a shorter 10th piece. You know, keep in mind these are 50-foot box cars. So yeah, and I got a couple cool pieces in here. So yeah, stuff like that. That's going to be too modern to run on my layout, or pieces, you know, that someone has done for me. Sidetrack Sunday cars. You know, like my Black Rock Central and my Split Rock Mining, you know, they're a little too modern for what I'm running. But this gives me a place to display stuff like that. So, other than that, I know this update's been kind of long. So, I'm going to let y'all have at it. Y'all be safe out there. And I will catch y'all next time. So, happy railroading.